Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, despite a late push, women's basketball's March Madness run came to a close. We'll bring the details on the season-ending loss.
And baseball bounced back against an in-state team on Tuesday. We'll give you the scoop. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Graham Nash.
And I'm Maura White. Graham, how was your weekend, your Easter celebration?
It was good. You know, went home with my girlfriend, enjoyed the break. How was yours?
I stayed here in Bloomington, just watched some basketball games this weekend.
Some basketball. Well, speaking of basketball, that's how we're going to start things off. The women's basketball season came to a close at the Sweet 16 this weekend, despite a valiant comeback effort. Our Kelsey Dennehy has more on the Hoosiers' last game of the season.
After a hard-fought comeback, number 4 Indiana fell short 79-75 to number 1 seed South Carolina in the Sweet 16.
Felt like we had a few more minutes. Maybe the outcome would be a little bit different for us tonight. But I can't overstate enough how proud I am and our staff is of our group and the way they fought.
Fueled by Sydney Parrish three-pointers, Indiana climbed to within as little as 2 points from a 22-point deficit to challenge the Gamecocks.
We weren't going to give up. We knew that we were going to fight to the end, whether that was for us to make it to the Elite Eight or if it was for Sarah, Mackenzie, and Ariel for it being their last game. We didn't want to go out without a fight.
You know, like Coach said, we battled our butts off tonight. The entire third and fourth quarter, whether shots were falling or not, we kept getting back on defense, keep getting stops, kept making plays on the other end.
This heartbreaking loss marks the end of a record-breaking career for graduate student Mackenzie Holmes at Indiana.
I wouldn't be this upset if it didn't mean so much to me. So, you know, accomplishments aside, I've met, friends that have turned into family here at IU, people that I'll have with me for the rest of my life, and I think that's the greatest accomplishment of all, is the experiences, the moments, and the people that I've spent 5 years here with.
I think we talk about Grace Berger, the career she's had, the career Max had, and so forth. We got great evidence that the way we're doing things is working for us.
Indiana finishes their season 26-6 and undefeated in 17 games at Assembly Hall. From MVP Arena, I'm Kelsey Dennehy, IUSTV Sports.
Indiana finishes the season 26-6 and will say goodbye to the graduating class of Mackenzie Holmes, Sarah Scalia, and Ariel Wisney.
The men's swimming and diving team finished up their season at the NCAAs this weekend in Indianapolis at the IU Natatorium. The Hoosiers secured 4th place with a total of 376 points. They were just 2 points behind Florida for a top 3 finish. Junior diver Carson Tyler defended his title of NCAA platform champion, scoring IU's all-time best score at an NCAA championship. Tyler, along with Maxwell Weinrich and Quinn Henniger, took home 6 out of 9 diving medals. Tyler alone scored more points than the second-best diving team, Ohio State. Senior swimmer Tomar Frankel set a program record with the first ever sub-44 second finish in the 100 fly. Brendan Burns picked up another gold for the Hoosiers in the 100-yard back with a season best time. The Hoosiers close out their season with an 8-0 home dual meet record, Big Ten championships for the 3rd year in a row, and a 4th-place national finish.
This weekend, the IU women's tennis team played a double-hitter against Michigan and Michigan State. The Hoosiers lost against Michigan 4-0 on Saturday for singles. Nothing was going for any of the Hoosiers in both singles and doubles, as Indiana never won a set in a finished match. On Sunday, it was a similar result. The Hoosiers lost 4-0 to Michigan State. The Spartans had a clean sweep on all singles and doubles matches. The losses dropped the Hoosiers to 0-7 in conference play. This weekend, they travel to take on Maryland on Sunday.
Indiana softball took on Michigan in a weekend series. The Hoosiers could not seem to pull ahead, losing 15-6 on Friday, 7-1 on Saturday, and 10-1 on Sunday against the Wolverines. Indiana had a short lead on Friday after sophomore Sarah Stone hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the second. On Saturday, junior Taylor Minnick also hit a home run, and on Sunday, freshman Alex Cooper made her first collegiate start as pitcher. Indiana's record now stands 23-12 for the season. The Hoosiers were scheduled to take on Purdue last night. However, this matchup has been postponed due to the weather.
The men's golf team sent a group of individuals to the Butler Spring Invitational in Indianapolis this past Monday and Tuesday. Freshman Nick Peason earned his second collegiate victory after shooting a career low of 133. Peason had a total of 12 birdies in 36 holes on Monday. Junior Kieran Hogarth tied for 50th with a 36-hole score of 145, and freshman Neri Chikuchi shot a 146 with a birdie in each round. Next week, the Hoosiers will compete in the Hoosier Collegiate on April 6th and 7th at the Foul Course.
Coming up after the break, we crown our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And water polo played their last home game of the season. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hoosier News Source, Wednesdays on IUSTV.
Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Now joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is our very own Ryan Craigs. Ryan?
Thanks, guys. This week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is CSCAA Men's Diver of the Year, Carson Tyler. The junior recently put up a stellar performance in the pool at the Swim and Dive National Championship in Indianapolis over the weekend. For the second year in a row, Carson won the 10-meter platform event as well as becoming the 3-meter springboard champion and finishing third in the 1-meter. All of this effort helped Indiana to achieve 4th place at the championship, their 5th top 5 finish in 6 years. Tyler was proud of the Hoosier fans for making the trip north, describing the room as shaking while he was diving. Many people are curious what he has in store for the Hoosiers next season. One thing is certain, Carson is definitely going to need some help carrying all those trophies. That's it for this week's Hoosier Highlight. I'm Ryan Craigs. Back to you guys at the desk.
Coming off a series split versus Butler, Indiana baseball was back in action Tuesday night against another in-state foe, Indiana State. Our Josh Post has the recap of the Hoosiers' 16-7 victory over the Sycamores.
Indiana baseball was back at the Bart for a midweek tilt with the 17th-ranked Indiana State Sycamores, and a pair of home runs gave the Sycamores a 6-0 lead after 3. The same lead IU had in Terre Haute just 2 weeks ago.
Building off the energy thing, just kind of keeping the energy up instead of kind of letting them come back and kind of killing our vibe, I guess, if you will. But just keeping the energy up, we knew that we could come back at any time and build upon that lead that we had. So.
The Hoosiers returned the favor by scoring 16 of the game's next 17 runs, thanks in large part to a massive grand slam in this 4th inning from sophomore shortstop Tyler Cerny to tie the game at 6. Hoosiers weren't done there. Josh Pine hit a 3-run blast in part of a 6-run 6th inning to give the Hoosiers the lead for good on top of 5 walks and a hit by pitch in a 31-minute inning.
You know, you think about Josh there, he goes from 0-2 back to a 2-2 count and then able to get back into it, and he homers it and gives us the lead.
Following the victory over the Sycamores, the Hoosiers now sit at 15-15 and will head to College Park for a 3-game weekend Big Ten tilt with the Maryland Terrapins. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Josh Bose.
The 3-game weekend series with the Terrapins begins Friday night in College Park, Maryland. Indiana will be looking for their first Big Ten series win of the season.
Indiana men's tennis played 2 matches at home at the IU Tennis Center last weekend. The Hoosiers entered the weekend with an impressive 11-1 home record and easily defeated Penn State 5-2 to start their Big Ten season 2-0. However, in the second match against the number 12 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, IU was overmatched and lost 7-0. The Buckeyes fielded 5 top 100 college players in the country.
Every ball needs to be hit with the intent that you're trying to do something with it, so that when you get out in these matches, you can really turn off your head and not worry so much about hitting a great ball or the quality, because you've done it so much in practice. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing over the next week, is that we consistently just come with the attitude that we're trying to hit the best ball that we can.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot better than last year. We played at Ohio State last year. Same result score-wise, but all of our matches went pretty quick last year, and this year we were able to compete in the doubles, I think, a little bit, and obviously compete in the singles a lot better.
IU continues Big Ten play as they travel to Michigan to take on the Michigan Wolverines on Friday and then Michigan State on Sunday.
The IU track and field team traveled to compete in the Raleigh Relay Outdoor Tournament and the Battle of the Bayou Tournament. Distance runner Skylar Stidham set the school record in the 10,000-meter race at the Raleigh Relays. Also in Raleigh, runner Mariah Lee moved up into the program's top 10 in the 5,000-meter race with a new personal best time. Finishing the weekend out in Raleigh, thrower Sean Mockler earned a top 5 finish in the hammer throw competition with a mark of 65.17 meters. Highlights in Baton Rouge include long jumper Serena Bolden earning a top 3 finish. Closing out the weekend, high jumper Mahogany Jenkins had 2 fifth-place finishes in the high jump and triple jump. The Hoosiers will be back next weekend in California to compete in the Brian Clay Invitational, as well as the Tom Jones Memorial Tournament in Gainesville, Florida.
The Indiana women's water polo team hosted the number 3 ranked University of Southern California on Saturday. Our Chase Sotsky has the recap.
I'm here at Councilman Billingsley Aquatic Center, where the 15th ranked Indiana women's water polo team faced off against the number 3 seed USC. Heading into this matchup, this was the second time that Indiana was taking on USC, and their first matchup they lost 12-10. This time around, Indiana started hot, scoring the first goal of the game in a fairly back and forth game throughout the first half, until it got to 6-6. Once it got to 6-6, University of Southern California was able to take the lead and run with it. They made it 13-6, scoring 7 unanswered, 8 in the entire second half, after only scoring 5 in the first.
I feel like we stuck to the game plan for the most part, but not long enough. So like the 4 or 5 minutes that slipped away, I think kind of derailed us at the end.
Indiana was led by Zoe Crouch, who scored 2 goals, Jasmine Higgs, who had 10 saves. After it got to 13-6, the Hoosiers were able to make it 13-8 late in the fourth quarter, but that was all. The game would end, and the Hoosiers would have their 6th loss of the season to the University of Southern California.
I think on offense, our passing was better in the first half, and just like our overall protection of the ball and attack. And then on defense, I thought our individual and team defense was better in the first half, able to get stops, and we're a fast team, so like getting stops was able to like feed our counterattack, and that slipped away a little bit.
They move on next week to face off against Arizona State, a team that they beat last year for the first time since 2005. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Chase Sotsky.
The Hoosiers will head to Arizona State this weekend to face off against the Sun Devils.
Now joining us with this week's Candy Stripe calendar report is Thomas Crow. Thomas?
Thanks, guys. Starting off this busy weekend with baseball, we will head over to College Park, Maryland, where the Hoosiers will play a weekend series against the Terrapins. Moving on, the Indiana softball team will also play a Big Ten series this weekend, starting off on Friday when they travel to East Lansing, Michigan to face the Spartans of Michigan State. Traveling from the diamond to the golf course, the men's team will be hosting the Hoosier Collegiate Invitational at the Foul Course here in Bloomington. Lastly, we will move over to the tennis courts, where the men's tennis team will be spending the weekend in Michigan with a contest against the Michigan Wolverines on Friday and the Michigan State Spartans on Sunday. The women's team will be facing the Terrapins of Maryland in College Park on Sunday. That's all for this weekend's candy striped calendar. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Thomas. And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Maura White.
And I'm Graham Nash. We'll see you next week.